Chat of the Wild is a part of the Greenlit Podcast Network. To find out more information, as well as other great shows, go to greenlitpodcast.com. Hello, welcome to Chat of the Wild.
Gaiden.
In this season, we are playing through Oceanhorn, Monster of Uncharted Seas. In our last episode, we went through a dungeon and we collected a shape. In this episode, we're going to go through a dungeon and we're going to collect a shape. Though, to be fair, we already had the shape.
Plot twist.
Yeah, quote-unquote twist. Whoa.
Oh.
Anyway,
Unless you
we
were
helped-
yelling that the entire dungeon at the TV, like I was.
We helped out the fish people. They did the thing where they're like, all right, great, leave. Here's
Yeah.
your boat. Go. When we get on our boat, the hermit whispers to us, hey, come back.
Come over my house.
I got some for you.
I got a thing over here.
Though he kind of actually does have something for us. So
Yeah.
It is really just, when we get there, it is a couple of fetch quests.
Yeah, what was up? I thought he was building us a house. I was like, this is really nice of you. Or like the sweat lodge.
It's a type of house.
Like a vision sweat lodge from like Lost. Like you have to get in here and then you can see the final island or something. But no.
Yeah, it was like, okay, he's building us like a blimp or an air balloon or something, but why does it look like a shack, like a workshop?
The shack was used to hide it. So we get there.
No, it was very
and
efficient. It had a tarp for the top. That became the structure. Eventually became the
Is that what it
vehicle
was?
itself. Yeah, it was really odd.
Well, let's run through the hoops that we had to jump through here. We get there. He says, "Get me a stool. I need it in order to do whatever I need to do." You go get the stool.
We've all been there. Yeah, we need a stool for things.
You come back. He says, "Go get me a sleeping bag," and you go get him a sleeping bag.
Sure.
You come back, and he says, "Go get me a fire bowl." Which this is the first time they've said what those things were.
Right.
But I knew exactly what he was talking about.
It's a bowl with fire in it. So
Yes.
There's one right around the corner, but I went all the way into a cave to try and find one.
Oh, I wandered for this one.
Yeah.
I wandered for the next one too.
Yeah.
Because when we get the fire bowl back, he says, "Get me one of those metal birds that sit on top of the houses or whatever that guide the weather or whatever."
Oh,
It's like,
God.
do what now? Excuse me? What?
How long did you all spend on the island looking for that before you realized it wasn't there?
A minute, but like I left the island, and I realized that it said 100% on the Hermit Island, and so once I realized it said 100%, I was like, oh, it's somewhere else. 'Cause I was
Okay.
like, it might be somewhere else, and then I left, and you could see I had 100% there, and so I was like, okay, I need to look elsewhere, and Tickerel's
Well-
like the only other place to look. So
Sure. Okay. All right. That's good. That's good to hear at least.
That's not as opposed to me who got like a magnifying glass and looked over every inch of this island before I left.
Again, even the only person here that's actually played through this game, and it wasn't even that long ago, I couldn't remember this part. And I was just like, where is this thing? Is it in one of those like crates? Like, because sometimes you can pull things out of the crates.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know, man. But yeah,
many,
we go to
bombs were
Tickerel.
thrown.
Well, we leave for Tickerel, and then while we're doing that, we get a little cutscene that it kind of reminded me of like in Wind Waker when everything got real dark, and there's that scene where the music is different, and what they want you to do is they want you to go to it's after you leave one of the islands that's destroyed that we were supposed to go to. Then we go back to our main island, and that's where like the story leads us. But this one, everything gets dark, and then we immediately cut to some island where our quote unquote dad is playing a song and basically talking about it's not like he's talking directly to us. it's more of like we're getting a vision of where he's at,
Mm-hmm.
of him saying, I hope he's getting this, you know, he's apologizing to us for like putting us in this position that we had to save the world, but he is with Oceanhorn right now, and hopefully his son is strong enough to stop it.
He's Breath of the Wild Princess Zelda-ing right now. So yeah, he's sitting there holding playing the polka flute to keep Oceanhorn asleep until we're strong enough to come kill it.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go with that.
That's what I was going for, because he's playing his recorder or whatever. And yeah.
So wait, does this happen while we sail?
I think this is currently like ongoing. Like this is where Dad is.
Yeah, because
you mean this scene?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was just. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's when we get out and we sail for a bit, and then there's just this cutscene in the middle of it. Once it's done, we just get kicked back to the world, and everything's normal again.
Yeah, so I completely missed this cutscene because I've gotten so tired of sailing that I've just been smashing the pumpkin shooter button, like facing it forward and smashing the pumpkin shooter button and doing something else until I land. So I didn't even see this.
So it was just happening, and you were just like looking at your phone the whole time or something like that?
Yep, smashing the pumpkin shooter. Because like if you point it in front of you and you just smash the button, it'll basically shoot anything that'll hurt you.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
Yeah, if you just aim in the one spot.
By the time I'd gone back and forth from like, Tickerel to here to like the reef to I was just over it.
Yeah, putting sailing in your Zelda-like game doesn't guarantee that it will be as fun as Wind Waker's sailing.
No, and I'm sure I can easily see a build of this that didn't have the shooting in it beforehand, and then they were like, this is boring. Let's put something else in there for them to do while they're sailing from one thing to the other.
Well, and if you need to refill on items, it's good for that.
Sure, yeah. I did want to mention, I went ahead and got the ice spell just in case there was something that the ice spell was useful for.
Right.
I was just like, I might as well, because I didn't get it. I skipped around it in the last episode, but I went and did it anyway. Plus, I wanted to like get any kills and heart pieces if I needed, just to level myself up.
What level are we all at right now?
I think I'm at 11.
Oh, I have to open it up. I think I just got the level where you get more arrow capacity.
I just got that one too.
Yeah. Okay. So because I haven't been grinding out achievements or kills or really anything. I've just been kind of playing the game.
So I guess my question is, did you all do the hermit quest first?
Yes.
Technically, no, because I went to the fortress and got the ice spell, ran around a little bit, and then went and saw the hermit.
So I don't know if you remember from the last episode, there was an island that we got access to but couldn't do anything because we didn't have the trencher boots. And it's like a reef or something. It's like toward the top left of the map.
I think I did that last week after the dungeon. I was like, I got boots now,
yeah.
so I'm going to run over
there.
I
did that as well. Actually, yeah, we should talk about that first because they were bringing up we needed to get the coral sword, is the sword of legend that will stop Oceanhorn. And yeah, one of the islands that we went to earlier, we couldn't navigate because we couldn't jump a square, but now we can. And you go through all of this, and it was I thought it was fine, but there is a part at the end where they basically say like, there's a sign that says, well, you made it this far, but there's one more trial. And I was like, I just sort of skimmed it and then went ahead and I was just like, what are you talking about? Just is a cutscene where you pull the sword out of the dead monster's head and then that's it. And then I went back and read it, and the trial was, are you a true hero? It's like, that's not a trial, man. I'm the main character of the game. Of course I'm a true hero.
Yeah, I was really expecting like a boss fight, or because this is the first time you see Sea Lork, which is one of the
Oh.
Oceanhorns.
So I didn't finish
kin
this
that was
island,
destroyed.
apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get the new sword.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay.
Uh,
You gotta go get that sword.
I should probably go get that sword. No, go for it.
Technically,
I also
you
want
gotta
to
get the sword.
I also want to see Sea Lork because Sea Lork is my favorite dumb name in this game. The Grand Monster Sea Lork.
See it work.
Yeah, Sea Lork's huge, just for the record. But yeah, I went through here. You get the upgraded sword, which is nice. There's a few puzzles. It's pretty chill. But I think the thing that frustrated me is, especially once we complete this hermit quest, you're kind of railroaded into, like, you're just on the tracks into the next area, and there's nothing you can do.
In this episode, right? We're gonna get to a point where there's no more exploring outside of this island that we're on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
I
like,
just kind of walked into this whole quest and I couldn't. I was like, I guess we're at the dungeon now.
yeah, and there's one enemy on this new island that I'm like, I can't imagine how long it takes to kill it without the new sword. Like, I can't imagine how annoying this would be.
Arrows, bombs.
Sure.
Yeah, one of them can't be killed, can't be finished with the sword I currently have. So like, I threw a bunch of bombs at. I assume you're talking about like the really big dudes.
Yeah,
Big
They're-
robotic.
They're just walking around.
walker.
Yeah, they General Grievous's guards, I think. Yeah. They you can I ran out of bombs and he still had a little bit of health left. And I was like, that should be enough to swipe him with the sword. And no, you can't finish him off with the sword. So arrows also.
So we are jumping around a bit more again. We got the coral sword.
Sorry.
You can get the coral sword if you go and take the weather vane bird thing back to the hermit. He creates a blimp that your boat attaches to, and it is just a cutscene. It's not like, we have an airship that we can fly around the map now or anything.
I was
No.
so excited.
I thought it was gonna be tight. I was like, okay, this is the one thing this game does better than Wind Waker is you get to fly. But
Yeah, airship. I was like, okay, we became a boat, and then you don't actually get an airship in what is it, Golden Axe Warrior? You get like a blimp. It's just the map button item. But like, okay, we finally come full airship circle. Yes.
Yeah, every game needs an airship, but this one, it doesn't get points for having it because
No.
we just immediately crashed it.
You came so close to glory, Oceanhorn.
Yeah, and so we make it into Arcadia, and we just like crash into this island, and we wander around for a little bit, and there's a bunch of monsters in here, some more bloodstones. So I did look this up. If you're interested in collecting 40 of them
40?
and then talking to the guy, yes, he will give you the strongest spell in the game that creates a black hole. So if you want to get that, and maybe that'll be easier to fight enemies for you. I still just like chucking things,
Yeah.
so this doesn't really appeal to me.
throwing
mean,
bombs and pots works pretty well. The new
Yeah.
sword kills a lot of stuff in 1 or 2 hits, so that's nice.
Mhm. I don't think the sword is. I felt like the sword isn't strong enough.
It's not.
Like it maybe will take one less hit off of certain enemies, and that's like it.
Yeah.
It's still better to throw bombs at enemies.
We've gotten 3. So yeah, 3 sword upgrades in this game. At some point, like I think our first or second level, we get an attack upgrade, and then new sword. So yeah, that sucks because they're such small little step ups.
Right. And also with the upgrades, I just noticed that I don't know how often either of you block, though technically in this dungeon we'll have more opportunities to block. That blocking takes up stamina.
Yeah.
Because one of my level ups were that it takes less stamina. And I was like, this is the worst level up. Because it was giving me a power up for something I didn't even use. And so that's great.
Well, you get it for blocking and for something else, right?
Dodging.
No, one of them is
The
just
dodge
for blocking. I
For
believe.
the shoes.
Yeah, one of the levels is for jumping and dodging,
Yeah.
and then one
Okay.
is for blocking.
Okay.
Yeah. It's weird.
Party.
So on this island, there are these machines that if you hit them, they will stop spinning. Now, eventually, that will become an important thing to do, but the first 6 of these that we come across do nothing. And so you might learn that these don't do anything. And you'll see one later in a dungeon that's actually a trigger, but you might ignore it because none of them did anything previously.
And some of them later won't do anything, but then some of them even later will do something again.
So you have to hit these things every single time just to make sure they don't do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I was like, you know what? One of these is going to be the thing that does the thing, or all of them are going to be required. And they're going to be like, you're going to have to go back and get these 4 things. Although that wouldn't. This game has shown it wouldn't do something like that. But I was half expecting that in such a way that I was like, all of these are getting hit. All of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On this island, there's a bunch of telescopes. You can look through like 1 or 2 of them, and they give you new locations for islands.
Or they'll give you location. One gives you a new location, which is your home island, and then one will show you the fortress if you hadn't gotten the fortress before.
Okay.
Right. And there's a graveyard somewhere. Someone tells you about a graveyard, or there is a telescope that shows you where a graveyard is.
Yeah, so
and,
at the very least, talk to a bunch of people.
You should go there.
Okay, we'll follow up. I don't think I went there, so I'll check it out for the closing episode.
Go find that.
But eventually, we wander around in here. We come across some people, and they're just like, "How'd you get up here? Who are you?
Hey,
you're not part of our town of 8 people.
You're not a sky person."
That have lived here for 1,000 years.
You're not one of the sky people.
And you talk a bit, and then we eventually find one guy that's in there that was just like, "Finally, you have arrived. It has been foretold that you would come and save us. Let me tell you about the story of how we were the ancient ones, and something broke, and we got launched into the sky, and there was a war, and all of these other things, and I just don't feel like any of it actually matters.
We can't get back down, so we had no choice to become the voyeurs of the whole kingdom."
Well, like the whole idea is this was the center of the Arcadian kingdom, and like not just their center as far as like the country, but as like this is where the core is, which is
this
like
is
the seat
infrastructure.
of all their technology.
Infrastructure goes out from here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like this is like the power plant. This is like what powers our entire empire. And the first thing that happens in the war is they just shoot that into the air, which strategically makes sense.
I mean, good call.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we've seen enough like relics of old machinery in here, though. Like, you would think that if this was a big deal about like how all of these islands were powered by this stuff, that we would see some leftovers of some like machines that don't work. But everything's been really natural so far.
Well, I think the implication is that it all got like lost or destroyed in the war, except for some stuff that we're going to see later. But there's a comment made toward the end of this area that that Oceanhorn is like one of the last Arcadian things left alive, like last relics of that era of technology.
Okay.
Unless we just killed Sea Lork. Well, yeah, I guess then it would still be one of the last things. Okay.
Sea Lork's been dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what I thought.
Don't get that conflated.
Okay, I thought all of a sudden we were going to fight Sea Lork. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Oceanhorn is the only creature that's still alive.
Right.
It is the last of the giant monsters.
Well, that's why you scared me.
No. Yeah. I apologize if you thought that you'd have a cool battle before you got that sword. You don't.
Okay.
If only.
But, yeah. As he's explaining all this, they do talk about how there was this one jerk that lives here that was trying to, like, you know, he was the sort of the Zant of the group, where he had different ideas of what should be done with this, and basically screwed everything up and was rejected out of. Again, this is there are like 8 people that live on this island, and one of them is just like, he's the person he's the outcast. We don't let him be in here, and it's just like, how do you deal with that? And they were fighting about how they were, going to handle all of this. And then one of the women takes it upon herself to leave by jumping off the
No,
island.
I think the implication is he throws her off.
I thought she left on her own accord.
Oh, I thought this was our mom, and she's like, "Peace, I'm out."
It is your mom.
It is. She is. But I think she was just like, I need to protect everyone because she took her necklace with her that was powerful, and it was like a useful item for everything that's going on with this floating island. And she left with it down to the... I think maybe she had a plan that she was going to go down there and save everything, but instead she met our dad, and
He knocked her up, and he continued the cycle, basically.
Right, which was
The
weird.
generational trauma of this whole storyline is...
Right. Well, when we get onto this island, we do get a message from our dad, and it's very strange wording because he basically says, your mom fell from the sky, and she doesn't remember what happened to her. But I told her she fell from the sky. She didn't believe me.
But then
she fell from the sky.
But she would look up at the sky when I said something about it. So, yeah.
So that's like 99%. That's like 95% right, Jeremy. But this is one of the things I took issue with is that it's like the entry from your dad's journal where he's like, he doesn't say your mom. He doesn't come out and say it. He just says, I knew this woman who said she fell from the sky, and she like lost her memory, but she would look up at the sky island, and you could tell there was longing in her heart. And it's like, is she really from like the sky island? But the thing that doesn't make any sense is he doesn't refer to her as your mom. And every single journal entry you've had from your dad, like the whole idea is that it's the journal he was writing as he was going on this journey to find Oceanhorn,
Right.
before he left you, like that sort of thing. It's like he wrote it right before he left, so it should say, "Hey, your mom came from the sky," as opposed to, "Oh yeah, I knew this lady once." Like you clearly married her and like
right.
had
This should have
children
been
with her.
important information.
Yeah. This is like when they're hooking up. Like he's writing this like during the adventure when they meet or something like that.
Yeah, well, we get in that cutscene where she jumps off the island, which they all say like, we can't leave this island, but she did. She just
Jumped.
yeah, and she was fine apparently.
I mean, she made entry like in a logical way that like she didn't really hurt herself too bad.
Sure. But our dad saved her because we get this little scene of her looking like a shooting or like a falling star in the background, and your dad's like, what was that noise? And that's like the end of the scene where we have to imply everything else from there on.
Is that what that was? Okay.
That's how I saw it.
Yeah, all right.
But after all the story is told, Mr. Bad Guy is hiding around the corner, and we just see him, and he just looks evil. Like, they didn't even like try to make him look like, oh, he's misguided. And even like when we hear and follow what he wants to do, this dude's just bad. He's just bad.
At first, I thought this was our mom was like following us. She was cloaked or whatever, and she was like, tracking us, and eventually like, I've been your mom the whole time. I'm still alive or whatever. But yeah, eventually it became clear that was not the case.
If we go and follow him, he basically says like, oh, there's this place, but you need a key. I already grabbed that key because I could tell there was like some puzzle thing inside of this room that we were in where we were given this story. So I already had the key when he said that, and it just opens up some little area on the island. We go into there and we see him, and he's just like, hey, I've got a secret. Chuck a bomb at these machines, and you just do it. You don't get a choice.
Yeah.
You just do it.
Yeah, like, oh, okay.
It wasn't even like he tricked us. He just dared us to do it, and we did it.
Yeah. How heroic is that? We don't have the fortitude to stand up to that kind of taunting.
Well, to be fair, we're faced with the option of living on the Sky Island forever or yeeting ourselves over the side and hoping we don't get amnesia. So,
Sure.
Since we immediately crashed our dirigible like 15 minutes after getting it.
What choice did we have?
We had none, to be honest.
No. Only moving forward. That's all you can do.
And also, me hitting the bomb button is kind of like a learned thing at this point. Like I smash that button anyway, so it's probably just reflex.
If there was one thing he was going to trick us to do, throwing a bomb isn't that big a deal.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm already like inclined to go for that button anyway, so.
That opens up the gate to the power plant. Before we go into there, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we will see what's waiting inside.
In this quarter on the Greenlit Podcast Network, Chris Sims and Matt Wilson. And in this quarter, VHS oddities, confusing animation, and modern not-so-classics.
Plus snacks, movie fighters.
We watch movies and beat them up.
And we're back, folks, with another episode of Nasty Labs.
Nasty Labs.
It's a show hosted by me, Kinsey Burke, and my dumbass friend Mark.
Nasty Labs.
This twice-monthly show about game development, Japan life, being nice to people, and hey, maybe a few other things. Nasty Labs is a product of Chuhai Labs Brand Incorporated, and now available for 3 easy payments of $420.69. Only on the Greenlit Podcast Network.
So we go into the power plant, and we're greeted with a few different options, a few different directions to go to. Like technically there's like 4 different directions. 2 of them are like immediate dead ends. Well, maybe even 5. 3 of them are immediate dead ends. And then there are 2, which I had a little trouble seeing at first because they kind of like blended in with the design of the map where they were ramps that go up to the left or the right. And you could walk up them and then go around this area. My eyes kind of glazed over when I walked in here and was just sort of like, hey, there's a treasure chest over here. I'm going to get that treasure chest. Oh, it's like bombs. Okay. That's not very useful. I had max bombs already anyway.
Yeah. Like, oh, I have to use bombs in this dungeon. Okay.
Right. And, you wander around. You go left through there, and we've got some... Honestly, I liked the puzzles in this one. I feel like I enjoyed it a bit more than the others, though there's some that are just like, I don't know. There's one we get to where it's like, push these blocks in front of these fire blower things, but it doesn't it's not like you're actually blocking them because you can just block yourself. But that's like the puzzle. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, no. I mean, for a lot of the puzzles in this place were just like pissing me off. Like they just annoyed the crap out of me. Like it wasn't like ridiculously hard or anything. I was just like, all right, Oceanhorn, come on. Like let's just do this. All right, fine. Where we had to like jump over we had like a timed switch and we had to have the right platform that came out of the ground up, and to do that you have to hit certain fans that are spinning to like in combination.
Right. One of them is a fan that you do have to hit. That is a switch.
Yeah, well, there's like 2 of them though. Yeah.
Well, there's a fan, then there's a switch, and then there's a button.
Yeah.
And yes, it's very annoying.
Yeah, and you have to get it right, and you have very little time, and so great. I mean, the layout though, like there was different places to go. There like branching paths a little bit. Yeah, you know what? I didn't get mad at the dungeon itself. Just sometimes the puzzles were pissing me off.
The dungeon itself was fine. I mean, I agree. It was fine. Like, I'm trying to think of an analogy. Like, it was a Taco Bell dungeon. Like, it's exactly what I expected. It didn't taste great, but it got the job done. So
yeah.
Yeah, it does the thing that I like in the Zelda stuff that, Brian, I think you like this compared to the other option where there's a lock, but the key is like 4 rooms in a completely different direction or something like that, where you have to go through some things. Eventually you find the key that gets you there, as opposed to like the keys in the room, right?
Kill this bad guy to open this door. There was a little bit of that. Was it here or before this point or something? We get the master key by killing a guy who has a key to a door that is locked, and inside that locked door is one room with a master key. And I was just like, yeah, see, that's the kind of thing you need to not be doing. But
That was in a previous one.
yeah, but here, no, there wasn't a whole lot of that kind of stuff.
Right. We come across for the first time on this island and in this dungeon. We come across this game's version of the Beamos.
Yeah, they're no fun.
Which these are so much more annoying because they have such a wide vision cone, and will just immediately start turning back towards you if you get too close to them.
Yeah,
It's not that they see you;
they speed
you're
up.
just in their cone.
they speed up and
too.
they can reverse direction.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's
you can't
very
kill them
annoying.
with bombs, but some of them you need, so that's why.
Right.
Have either of you gotten a damage boost or a defense boost at all?
No,
I don't think
I
so.
don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I'm not missing out on anything because those BMOs destroyed me. So
Oh yeah, they
like
do.
you have to crisscross through enough rooms that one few too many stray BMOs, like, crap, I didn't think he'd see me, or I didn't know that one was over there, or whatever. Just eventually you get through like 3 or 4 rooms and you're like, I have no health left. What happened?
Yeah, I'm sitting at 7 hearts, I believe.
Okay.
That's as far as I know. That's the only way to like make yourself stronger is just
Yeah.
to get more health. I didn't have too much of a problem here, just because this game is still so generous in giving you hearts back. You do really need to keep away from those because they will just keep shooting at you, and even sometimes they'll get through little angles that you didn't necessarily think that they could get you through. So
Yeah.
you'll think like, oh, I'm blocked here. They're not going to do that. Nope, they got me. They're annoying. They're not nearly as interesting as the BMOs in Zelda. It's so weird just how much they straight up copy these things from Zelda. Like the design of them is a little different, but the function is the exact same. And they're not necessarily better than BMOS. I don't know if because they're invulnerable, I don't like them. I just don't like the way they move. I don't like how you interact with them. But it is what it is.
BMO should be killed, not used to beat a dungeon puzzle. Kill the BMOs. Have we ever used a BMOs to solve a dungeon puzzle in a Zelda game? I don't think so.
No.
So
Igor
is yes, but BMOS no.
There is the first puzzle we have to solve with them. I actually like where you have to run from it and you have to trick it into hitting the thing. I don't like the way that it reflects when you'll eventually have to reflect the beams. Since we're talking about the BMOs, we might as well bring it up. But the way they do it, it consumes your stamina, and the angles that it goes at just don't seem natural.
They're terrible.
Yes.
Because it'll lock onto you, and then you will automatically you can't lock onto enemies, so you cannot really choose the direction you're looking at. And when the BMOS hits you and you are reflecting it with the item that we'll get, it just chooses its own path, and it's the same path every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically have to be in front of it, in between the two switches that you have to hit with the lasers, and you just have to like slightly move left and right. If you're on the right side, you're in the wrong place. Like you have to basically be center in order to hit either of the left or the right ones. And it's just it's me describing this. I know if you haven't played this game, sounds like nonsense, but the people here that have played this understand.
It's weird.
What they're doing is weird.
Yeah, it's weird to try to put it into words.
Yes.
Exactly what is wrong. What feels wrong about doing this reflecting puzzle?
It's akin to the feeling you have when you play one of those flash games, like online games where you're supposed to hit keyboard keys to run, and you know how a person should run in real life, but when you try and do it with like in the game, you're like, oh, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Are these words?
Yeah. Eventually, we go through and we do get an item that will be the thing that lets us reflect. Now, I do have a complaint because this item was in a regular chest, and every item we've gotten so far that has been a special thing is in a green chest. And I don't know why they changed this.
And we get 2 green chests later that just have item refill things in it.
Yep.
And I just threw my hands up and I'm like, nothing makes sense anymore. Just throw all the rules out the window. Fine.
So the green chests are big chests and they require the master key. So we needed, they switched this around where we needed this item before we would get the master key. But I don't understand why they bothered putting those chests in there. Like they were like, we'll give you some refills just before you go to the battle, but it's not right in front of the boss door either.
It's off to
and
the
also
side.
the items they
Off to
give
the
us.
side.
Yeah, but the items they give us are not useful for the boss battle.
No.
Not at all.
I don't understand that layout at all.
Maybe they wanted to be like, here, now when you get item drops, they won't be these things because you're full on them.
So one positive thing about this dungeon, since we're talking about the shield, the reflecting shield, I do like the theming of it because I mean most of the dungeons we've seen have been nondescript caves. Even if it's supposed to be like a fortress or whatever, it's kind of just a dark cave that's nondescript.
Instead of, should have been more subgate style where like, hey, there's stuff here. There used to be things here,
I didn't think about that, but exactly. Like
that, yeah.
It should have been more of a Mega Man Legends, like you're diving into, ancient ruins with crazy technology.
Yeah.
But this dungeon does have that feel because like this was supposed to be the jewel of the kingdom. And so you go in and there's signs that are like, hey, like, welcome to the core. Like, this is over here. The warehouse is over here.
Yeah.
Like, the shield you get is in a showroom. So you go to the
Yeah,
showroom.
that's right.
It's supposed to be like, hey, this is this cool technology we built. And that's why it's here in this place you would go to see all the cool technology that the kingdom
here's
has.
the tour.
Yeah.
You go up on this bridge, like overlooking everything to be like, this is the way you go to see the warehouse. Like, yeah. Okay.
And then when you do things later, it's like, okay, well, the reason this room is filling with water is because it's a coolant system in case, like, something overheats. Or, hey, you need this master key to get into the main room for repairs, which makes so much more sense. So I enjoyed the theming of the dungeon. I'm glad that they put work into that.
All right, yeah, fair. We didn't say, so the shield is the shield of Kronos.
Yes.
I don't understand the significance.
The shield of...
Maybe that guy who, like, could see the present and the future made it. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not following that one.
So we've got everything I think we need here, right? Is there anything else in this dungeon that's worth talking about? I think this has the most that is worth talking about of any of the dungeons.
Yeah.
I would say I was a bit surprised, like, when we got to the island in general, and there's a new enemy that we kind of talked about before that looks like the mechanical enemies we've seen before, but if someone just took one and then stuck it on a giant, like, robot body, like, stuck that as the head on top of a robot body.
Yeah.
So the first time you kill one of those, you get an achievement that says, hey, you killed every enemy in the game. And I was just we haven't even gotten to the final dungeon and they're out of enemy types.
And they're celebrating it too.
Yeah, there's really only
you
six,
did it.
There's like 6 enemy types and that's it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that too and being like, oh, that's it, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I forget what I killed to get that, but it was something that I'd just been ignoring. Oh, I had never fully killed one of the big spiky guys because I'd only ever seen them in applications where, like, well, if you push him over to the switch, he'll stay there. And then I just I just would leave them alone when I saw them. I'm just like, hi, you're a thing, bye.
I just always chuck a bomb immediately at those guys.
I finally killed one, and it was like, doo-doo-doo! Like, oh.
Nice.
Hooray. That's not a good thing, game.
So we go into the boss room. We get this scene where that weird evil guy is hanging out there, and he's just like, "All right, I'm gonna do my evil plan and all that. Wait, what's going on? Something's wrong." And then there's a robot voice that comes on where it's just like, project initiated, and then this thing blows up, and this voice starts talking where it says, "I will be your new god," and it's like, what is happening right now? And then we see Shadow Mesmeroth.
Phantom? No, Shadow. Okay, they went with Shadow.
Yes,
Okay.
it's Shadow Mesmeroth.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically Phantom Mesmeroth.
It's the Dollar General steak. Like the steaks you get from Dollar General or whatever dollar place that has actual freezers. It's those steak version of Phantom Ganon,
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to put a lot of your own seasoning on those ones.
Yeah.
You have to boil that in beer or something.
BC mentioned before about like when you're fighting these bosses that it feels like they're just doing their own thing, and this one really hit it for me because there was a lot of times I'm just standing there and I'm like, are you gonna do anything? Because if you try to shoot him, chuck a bomb at him or anything, he just disappears and goes somewhere else.
If you stand and wait for him to do the one thing that he does do, sometimes he backs up all the way above all the way to the back of the geometry of this closed-in space. Like he's just up on top of the wall.
I kept having him get too close to me.
That too.
And just phasing out. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So Phantom
He's
Mesmeroth
dead. He's dead. Give him a break. He's dead.
His only move that he has is shooting a fireball at you.
Yeah.
And at
summoning
first,
missiles.
I was like, okay.
And summoning missiles.
Oh, I didn't get any missiles.
You didn't get the turrets that shoot missiles?
Oh, that's phase 2. We're not there yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So since he shot fire, and even though we just got a thing that reflected, we haven't really had it where we needed to use the item we just got in a boss battle. That hasn't really been the logic of this game necessarily.
No.
So I didn't think about that, and I thought I would need to guide his fire to the one torch that wasn't lit.
Oh.
Okay.
So I tried doing that, and I was like, okay, let's see if I do that. Will that do something where he's like, oh, there's too much light in here now. Now you can hit me. That didn't do anything. But I was like, hey, I did it. Did I get an achievement for that? Nope.
I was like,
I just did it.
Thanks for turning my lights on, man.
I can fire better at you now. I can see you better now.
I get a buff for that.
What you need to do is you got to just reflect his fireball back at him. Now, there's no timing. There's no directing. You just hold down your shield. That's all you do.
It's like it's instead of hitting it with your sword, you're hitting it with your shield.
But there's no timing. You can just literally hold down shield the entire time.
Oh, okay. Well, I had to let my shield up, right? Yeah. Oh, because only when it reflects does it use stamina. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was doing timing
he was so slow. So. You didn't have to.
Okay.
You didn't have to.
Okay.
You could literally just stand there with your shield up, and he will eventually damage himself.
Mesmeroth.
After you do some damage to him, he then does the giant sun appears out of him, and you hit it a few times, just like everything else.
I was glad to see that. Yeah, even if there were 3 of them, we had to find the right one. I was still glad to be like, oh, that was it, huh? Oh, okay.
You know you're doing damage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then after that, he will go to one area, and these turrets will appear around the sides. And they make it very clear where they're just like, these things are powered by these spinning machines in the corners. You run in a circle, you hit them each once, it turns them off.
Yeah, where have I seen that before? A Link to the Past.
So what's weird is that these are different looking machines too.
Yeah.
Like we've had... They look different than the other spinning ones that we saw earlier that were not clear that they actually did things. So now they have a different one here. It's just weird, man. Mm-hmm. You do that. He comes back. You do the same thing. Keep your shield up. He will then turn into a couple of themselves, and you have to figure out which one is him before it'll actually do damage to it.
Mm-hmm.
I only had to do this, I want to say 3 times with the Coral Sword. Maybe Brian had to do it one more extra time.
Yeah. Because I just at this point was just slashing my sword at it.
I had a little difficulty with this fight in general because my Joy-Con was being weird. And so when I was pressing the button to shield, it wasn't always bringing up the shield.
Okay, yeah.
Fun.
And then also, fun fact, he can still hit you with the fireball after you like knock him into the state where he's like damaged.
Oh.
So there was like still a fireball in the air because like on like the last like toward the end he'll throw 2 fireballs. So I reflected the first, dropped my shield, and he was doing the spin out before like he becomes vulnerable, and then I got hit with another fireball on like with 1 heart, and so I had to start from the beginning.
Well, was it like bouncing around, or did it heat seek you?
I think I was just like in the path of it because I had already.
Oh, okay.
I had reflected the first.
That sucks.
And then like when I went back in, the button was like being weird, so I just kept getting hit. So it took me a while, but
Yeah.
Weird. You do that a few times. You kill him, and he says, this is just the beginning or whatever.
I'm not the real fight. Real fight's later.
I'm just a ghost in the machine.
I do want to say I've got a clip I need to show you guys. It's on my Switch, so God knows how I'm going to get it off of there. Of the little helper Zant guy getting exploded by the bad guy showing up, but like it's weird. He turns around and then does like a front flip backwards. The model's ridiculous in that cutscene, but
I don't remember this at all because I'm trying to think, and I just did this battle, so like it did not stand out to me.
it's weird. It's really weird.
Huh. Yeah, we finish his battle, and this basically reactivates the power plant.
Woo.
And causes well, actually no, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we get our necklace back because that bad guy did take our necklace at one point.
Yeah.
And then it is revealed to us that the necklace is actually the last of the 3 gods.
So we did it.
Which we already had them
Already.
apparently.
It's over. They
fun
better not
fact,
start
this
like
god
glowing
has
and
already
flashing.
talked to us earlier in the game and could have just cut out like we could have just cut to the whole chase.
You should become an airship. No, I've got all the things. No, it's just airship. It's really cool. Come on. All right, fine, old hermit. That's fine, I guess. I guess I'll do this whole section of the game.
But there's something because now that the island is back on the power grid, that will activates the other island that we need to go to, like where Oceanhorn actually is now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is where we actually will have to deal with that stuff.
Forbidden, whatever word that they didn't use in Zelda to describe that. It's
Sure.
the forbidden other word.
So for our next episode, it will be our final episode. We're going to finish this game. Go do some more exploring if you want. There's, maybe you want an extra heart. That's kind of it.
Graveyard's got a spell. Should I just tell you what that spell is? It's got a
Nah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
All right. It's something that I've been like asking for the whole game. It's like games like Zelda-Likes like this have this spell, and I want it, and I finally found it. So,
well, we'll leave you on that cliffhanger, everybody.
Yeah.
Go complete the game. Come back here. We'll talk about it on Chat of the Wild.
Gaiden.